listening to 515, the Ultraman podcast, the show that invites you into the lives of people who make up the Ultra family. Here's your host for these conversations, co-race director of Ultraman Canada, Larry Ryan.
Thank you, MJ. In today's episode, we have an athlete profile on a man who has climbed the 7 summits. But before we get to that, we're going to have part 2 of my conversation with Steve King, where we get to find out how exactly he became a race announcer.
Just listen to the roar of the crowd as Michael McCormack he's about to make that final turn. He knows he's going to win the 1995 Ironman Canada title as he did in 1991. He's dedicating this race to his father who passed away not too long ago. His girlfriend Layla Fuji is there at the finish line. He's giving high five. He's raising his arms. He knows the victory is his. Just look at the smile on his face. He gives a high five to another competitor going out on the run course. He is celebrating a major return to championship form in here as he comes in with about 20 meters of running go. A brilliant time. It will not be Tingley's time, but it is a victory. 8:31.55 from the man from Auburndale, Massachusetts, Michael McCormack, the champion for the 1995 Timex Ironman Canada. And look at that, he goes back out on the course. He wants to show his appreciation to this crowd, and they want to show their appreciation for a job tremendously well done. 2 times he's visited Penticton in the South Okanagan, both times coming away with a victory.
That is Steve, the announcer, calling Ironman in 1995. He's called a number of Ironman races throughout his career. He's done all of the Ultraman branded races. He's done some of the other 515 distance races around the world. He's obviously done the Hawaii Championship for Ultraman. He's done ITU World Championships in Penticton just as recently as 2017 when they had the big celebration there. World Triathlon Championships on a number of occasions, some challenge family races. You're like the man when it comes to announcing things in Ironman and Ultraman. I'm just wondering, have you ever done any other sports?
In terms of commentating, yes, actually, yeah. But Mike Riley is the man when it comes to triathlon, of course. He's known for getting to all the big events and calling people in. But I'm so honored to be part of the group that does get to go to some of these races. I've been fortunate enough to commentate at quite a few events as a result of not only triathlon, but running races, of course. I commentate at a lot of those track and field meets, but also swim meets as well. I've done quite a few there because I've been lucky enough to do the Commonwealth Games. Got to call in some great swims there, including the very last night. One of my favorite events was watching the men's 1,500 meters and commentating live there in the Commonwealth Games, Paul, in 1994, when Kieran Perkins of Australia set a world record. People were commenting on the fact that the pool didn't seem like it was a fast pool. No one was setting major records. However, in that 1,500 meters final night, Royal Family was there, and Kieran Perkins not only broke the world record for 1,500, but he broke the world record for 800 en route. And there were 4 other guys in that broke their national records. So it was a phenomenal way to wrap up the swimming events.
And that was the one that was here in Victoria. Is that right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've also done World Police Firing Championships, their games that occur every 4 years or so. And I've done that on 3 different occasions. And we've done a lot of sports when it comes to being there for that. But I only want to do sports that I thoroughly enjoy. So in those ones, not only would it be triathlon, but I was also doing road biking, mountain biking, and downhill sections, cross-country sections. So it was thrilling to be part of that.
Yeah,
I've even called belly flop competitions here in Penticton as well. That was a lot of fun. And we have some other races, of course, as well. We've got a relay event that goes from downtown Penticton up to Apex, and it includes 6 different sports. And relays and individuals. So I like doing those sort of things. And 2 years ago, Gene and I commentated at the 24-hour race up at Silver Star. That was a mountain bike race. and just commentated for the whole 24 hours. And that was really enjoyable to see how that unfolded. I really do love commenting or commentating out these distance events, as well as being there or being a participant in the past.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, you definitely have the background and the knowledge and the history of all these people that I know that you're able to pull out and keep people interested on the edge of their seat as to what you're going to say next about these people is one of the things that I know that Ultraman people really enjoy when they come to one of our events. I guess now that you're at this like great height of doing sports announcing, people want to know, how did it get started? Like, did you have a broadcasting background? Did you like go to school for it, or like how exactly did you get into calling races?
When I came to Canada, and specifically to Penticton, or ended up here in Penticton, there were no running races per se. There was no track and field club or running club. I went to a race. It was called the Greenwood to Midway race at that time. It was about an 8-miler. And when I looked at the results, I realized there were maybe 15 of us that had come from the Penticton area. So I put an ad in the paper asking for anyone who would be willing to join me in forming a running club. So we got a running club going, and then I started hosting races so that I could run in them. So I organized the races and would run in them. And at that point, I would mostly win them. And so as soon as I finished, I would grab a bullhorn and start calling everyone in. And then when we decided in 1983 that we were going to have a Peach Classic, I had approached Lynn with Al Johnson. I approached Lynn and Mike Van Aert, as they were at the time. And with their partner, Frank, we agreed to put on an event, which is still the Peach Classic. And then Ron Zelko came to town the next month and put on an event with Lynn. They sort of co-hosted the first Ironman or ultra distance. It was called the Ultra International. And that morning of the event, when it was starting, just prior to the start, Lynn asked me if I would be the announcer. I'd already made some plans actually to go out with some friends and do some training and watch the race unfold. So it did take me by surprise. I mean, I was honored, but hadn't really prepared to do so. And then we had, I think, 24 athletes. But I said yes. Okay, eventually I said yes, because I was a little hesitant at first because I hadn't done any homework. I didn't know the athletes. Anyway, it went very well. It was great. And Ron said, we'd love to have you back. And Lynn invited me back. And so, but the next year I actually did the Ironman distance race in '84. But in the meantime, there was a cross-country ski club up in Samarkand who asked me if I'd come and commentate at their Reino Keskisami Loppet. So things evolved. And then we were putting on more and more races locally, cross-country as well as road races. And it just sort of mushroomed from there.
And eventually you got to the point where you were starting your own events company, and you have other people that work with you and things like that. Is that still something that you're
I wish it were. I wish it were. I started a thing called TriFit International Sports, and we put out a magazine. I was the editor, publisher of the magazine. We put on training camps, the very first one, 1985. I think we had 6 people. We did bike tours. We put that together. We may have had 20 people in total that did those. I developed a line of clothing, produced bags, a whole slew of different things.
Like I said, at the start of this.
Which would have been successful now, but it wasn't. The numbers weren't there then. But I ran the magazine for, I think, 3 years. I've still got a copy of each one. I was very proud of that. It was the first national magazine in Canada for the sport of triathlon. But it was a little bit before its time.
Yeah. You were a visionary.
I'd like to think so. My wife would think I was a loser of finances, at least. But we both love it. We have no regrets.
So of course, it's given you so many great memories. One of the things when I was starting the research for our interview, and I was looking around, and I came across an Ultraman Canada 2011 race report, because it happened to mention your name. And it's from a couple people you've mentioned already, which is Kat Calderbecker and Kevin Becker. And in that race report, they're doing their thank yous. And one of them says, for Steve King, this is what it says. From out of nowhere comes the voice of Iron Man. Out in the woods or perched on a hilltop, Steve's got all your stats and is sharing them with the world over a PA system in the middle of nowhere. He's your number one fan, and in that moment, he makes you feel like you are a rock star.
That's really nice.
And I know, speaking to the athletes, that is like obviously one of the highlights of coming to do the Ultraman events is the way that you have put that time in to study them and have that information, and you get to know them. And I know you interview people. And I've also come across a clip that I think really tells the story of what that's like for the athletes. So I'm just going to play that for you. See if you recognize this one.
Yeah, so great job there, just inside the 5-hour mark, so tremendous job.
That's Steve right there.
Steve King's voice. You're awesome.
Here's Heidi.
She's heading on through, again, tremendous job for the 5-time Ironman finisher and former state trooper.
State trooper, I like it.
Supporting them too, and we're delighted because she's gone through there and can look at maybe a 10 to 10.5 hour overall trotting if she can pace herself well. But she's actually moved through the field since the half marathon mark.
So do you recognize that clip?
I can't hear it too clearly, but it's nice to know that someone recorded it somewhere.
Okay, so that was Heidi Marshall.
Ah.
And that was from Ultraman, Florida.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, yes. Okay. Well, now I realize now why I can't hear it too clearly. You're probably aware that I couldn't get down there one year. And this was to Florida because of the weather conditions here. Florida's held in February. I went to the airport 4 different days and my flights were canceled. And as it got closer to the start, I was saying, well, maybe I could get there for the beginning of the race as opposed to the days building up to it. And so my friend Jim Grotkoff, who I work with down there, he's a fabulous, not only a finisher, but he works with me when we're down there. He contacted me, said, Steve, you can't be here, but how about if we get you on the speaker at the marathon mark of the final day? And I said, well, I don't have a visual. So we agreed that he would spot them with his binoculars about 200 meters out, and then I would just commentate as though I were there. And so that's what happened. And so I sat, literally, I'm in my dressing gown, and pajamas. I'm sitting in the kitchen on the phone, not seeing a thing, and I commentated for over 6 hours on people coming through at that marathon mark. It was funny. It was really, but people were pleased, and I was pleased. At least I felt somewhat connected to the event as a result in the end.
Yeah, and I found that one on Facebook, and maybe I'll put the link up for that so other people can find that as well. And it's just, you see the smile on Heidi's face as she's coming up, and she's like, "Is that Steve King's voice? Oh my God!" And she stops and just stops to listen to what you're saying about her.
Yeah, that was fabulous. Thank you for finding that. Man, you've done your research. That's brilliant.
Oh, thank you. So how long do you think it takes you to prepare for one of these races? You were saying earlier that the first one you did, you just went in cold and jumped in and did it. But I know now you spend a lot of time preparing and getting to know the stats and the people and their race background. So give us a little bit of an idea of what goes into preparations for an Ultraman race.
Oh, for an Ultraman specifically, it's a lot of preparation in terms of, I like to get the list of athletes as quickly as I can, and then I do research online. I go on and find out whatever I can online. But then usually once I've collated that, I put out a questionnaire to the athletes as well, or the race directors do on my behalf, a questionnaire I put together. Then when I'm down there, I meet usually with all the athletes. Sometimes someone escapes me, but we usually set aside a time now for them to come and see me at the registration area. And then I'll sit with them and their crew usually, or at least with their crew captain, if not the entire crew, because I like to find out as much as I can about the crew as well, because you find some interesting characters that are involved in crewing. or people that are returning that have been out there and have done an event themselves, or their coaches, or their partners, or their partners to be. People meet up and people split up as a result of these types of events.
And I know that you keep all of that information that you do gain carefully curated at your website, steve-king.ca. What's some of the stuff that athletes can go and find at steve-king.ca if they're looking for information about the sport?
Well, about the sport, I have one particular part of the website which was dedicated, and I haven't added anything to it for a long time, but that was dedicated to triathlon. I got one dedicated to some marathon stuff as well, but quite a bit is also on psychology or psychological makeup, using energy resources, using mental acuity, or how to heighten that so that you can have the best performance. Because there comes a point where you've done all the training you can do, but then the only thing it comes down to is maybe the mental attitude that you have. And I think that's an important one. If you can develop an attitude of gratitude, I know that gets said a lot and bandied around, but it really is the key in the end to embracing the day. If you're standing at the start line terrified, then you're not going to be able to bring out the best in yourself. Whereas if you're standing there grateful, if you believe in God or not, it doesn't really matter, but grateful that the universe has allowed you to get to that point, that you've done the training, that you've had the ability to be there financially, whatever way, that your family's allowed it, if it took some persuasion, which sometimes it does, that you've got support, that you've got a crew, that it's all come together, that here you are, this is what your dream has been about. Now it's about allowing that to come through you. And so when you've got a mind that's grateful, you're in a totally different headspace. Even when things go wrong, it's like, let's get down to it, let's change this flat and move on. Or something, or you've gone the wrong way. This has happened a few times in different races, right? Something can happen out of the blue that can upset you, but you've still got to keep your eyes on the prize, and that prize is getting there each day inside 12 hours. What's it going to take from this point on? And that's where a great crew can come in. The number of times we've heard of it, people being inspired, if it wasn't for a crew this, or someone running with them and keeping their mind focused, or someone taking care of business, or someone running back somewhere and getting some stuff, or another crew loaning something to another crew. So a lot of stories out there. And that's what I love about this podcast, is the fact that you're going to be telling stories, so to speak.
Yeah, that's the entire purpose of this, is to try and get as many of these stories out for people to share and get to know each other, and then hopefully inspire those people that are maybe sitting on the fence or thinking about it, or they want to come out and crew and see what it's about. Maybe they're not an athlete. Like I'm not a triathlete, but I feel fully involved in this family by being a crew member throughout the number of years that I've been doing it.
But you're more
and
than
for the people that don't know.
Yeah, but I think it's important for people to know you're more than a crew member. With what happened, at the Ultraman, when you and Brad were working together there, it worked wonderfully. Thank goodness. Where Brad was running around doing things over here, you got all these other things smoothed out and took care of business. And that's what it takes. You've got to have an organization that works well together. And thank goodness you guys do.
Obviously, you're speaking of Brad Sawa, the co-race director with me now in Ultraman Canada. In 2019, when he was putting on that race, I came in to help him out, and now I'm obviously there as his co-race director. So there are some stories there that'll probably come out in future podcasts about how that all went down. You started talking about being in the moment and having that appreciation. You were obviously a great athlete. Were you of the mindset where you were appreciating all of your sport back in the day, or did you come upon that later in your career, or did it not? Because you said at Badwater, it was really important for you to get that race in, and then how you had a spiritual feeling at it. Where along your career do you think that kind of crept in for you, even with your training?
I think that's a wonderful question, because I would say my appreciation of the sport evolved as I evolved as an individual. And by that, I mean, when I first raced for many years, everything about it to me was about the end result, the time, the position. And I'm so pleased to say that changed, because it has to change. It has to change if you want to stay in the sport for a long time. It has to change if you want to evolve as an individual, because you're going to get slower. You're going to get beaten, sometimes massively, but you shouldn't be beating yourself up. For me, though, there were some significant changes and shifts that made me stop and think about things. I missed a family wedding. I think that probably was when it really hit me, where I was leading in a series. We have an interior road running series here in the Okanagan. I was leading in the series in my division, and there was one more race to go. And there was a family member getting married that day, and I went to the race and didn't go to the wedding. I can't even remember how I did in the race, but I've never forgotten that I didn't go to the wedding or supported my wife, as it was one of her family members, which I should have done, because she has supported me endlessly in everything I've ever chosen to do. And I really took a good look at myself and said, what the heck are you doing? And I realized that I wanted to start to embrace the courses. Prior to this, I could have gone anywhere almost in the world to race, and couldn't have told you anything about the place except the race, bit about the course, my time, and where I placed. And that is pretty sad. And I acknowledge it, because I'm fortunate enough to have seen that, no, I want the experience of this. And once I started to appreciate more the experience of it, I felt better in the events. If I didn't do so great, I wasn't upset. I didn't have a negative voice in my head having to go at me. It was like I'd made peace with myself. And in that peace, I achieved a way more appreciation for everything around it, including fellow competitors, including never being rude to people at aid stations. Because I never forget one time I asked someone for some water and they gave me Coke or something, and I just splattered it on my head, and it was like, oh no. And I don't think I swore, but I certainly didn't say thank you. And whereas I think now I would just laugh and say thank you or something, it wouldn't bother me in the way that it bothered me then. And I got upset a few times in long distance races where I had expected something to be there and either the person wasn't there. It happened in the Western States, something was forgotten at my first aid station, and we're well into the race. I'm fatigued and tired. And later on, they missed me at a point. They got there after I'd gone. These things happen. But I had a hard time adapting or adjusting to it at that time, but now I can. And so it made a huge difference. And I think when you come in with an attitude that thank you to a race director, thank you to the organizers, thank you to the volunteers, thank you to my crew, thank you for whatever you believe in, to allowing you to have the physicalness, the spiritualness, the mental ability, the acuity to be able to put this together. Because I meet people constantly in my own age group, as a result of the work I do. And I'm often amazed that, they're in the shape that they are. And I think, my goodness, this person said a totally different experience to what I've had in life. And I'm really pleased that I never got into certain things, but the sport has kept me on track, the people in sport, because I think that's the other thing about it is the number of people you can call family, in a sense. And I don't mean close and intimate at some level, but you can connect with them. Even if it's a year apart, you can really connect. That's why they call a group of them on the Big Island the Rat Pack. Year after year, they come back. Some don't come back and miss a few years, but they keep connected.
And that's so much about the ultra side of it, I think, and why people are attracted to the Ultraman race is because they get tired with the Ironman competitiveness, and they're ready to move on. Because a lot of our competitors are in an older age group. They're not the young people. They're people that have gone through. They've built themselves up to be able to do these longer distances, and I think mentally they're prepared to move into that idea of, while some of them are definitely there to win the race and do the best they can, there's a whole whack of them that are there to challenge themselves to meet those demands and be part of the crew and tell those stories. And that's one of the best parts of the Ultraman weekend for me is when you get back to the awards night and the crew stories come out and they tell the stories about how they missed their athlete, and at the time the athlete might have been quite upset with them, but by the time you get to that awards night, it's already starting to be a funny story that's going to be told for years to come.
Absolutely. But you hit on a good point too. If I may just say something else, because the sport of Ultraman racing, or the distances, is starting to appeal to a lot of younger people too. And one of the great things is someone like Van Dam Sanchez of Mexico, 2014 in the UK, when they had an Ultraman there for the first time. He did that event at 19 years of age, and now he's putting on the Ultra MX 515 event down in Mexico as a race director. He turned up in Australia as well previously, So, I mean, there are young people that are doing it. And in Australia, this last year, there would have been an 18-year-old female whose father and grandfather have both done the Ultraman there. But unfortunately, the event, things happened and the event got cancelled, of course, with COVID. So, the people are out there. We've had 21-year-olds do it in Japan. And we've had Dan Jensen at 67 is the oldest male. We've had 2 women, Diane Anderson, Wendy Minor from the Big Island, that have both done the event at 65 years of age. So, you've got quite the margin. And there's going to be someone who wants to be the first 70-year-old who's going to be out there sometime doing it as well.
Yeah, and I hope they're doing it at Ultraman Canada.
Me
too. We have Andrew Peterson going to be doing our race this year, provided our race is running, and I'm sure it will. He would have been 19 doing it last year, and he's one of those people that's like, I want to try and do this while I'm young and be one of the youngest people or the youngest to go challenge the world championship, and that was his goal as well. So yeah, there are younger people that are building themselves up to it quickly, and I can only imagine what kind of careers they're going to have. They're going to be like those quarterbacks that are playing till their late 40s and have these multi-decade careers of Ultraman. Absolutely. If their bodies can hold up. Well, that is the end of the Steve King conversation for this episode. But come back to episode 3 to hear the third and final part. And starting in episode 4, Steve will be a regular contributor, sharing short Ultra stories about, well, whatever he wishes. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss a Steve King story. Coming up after today's crew story is my conversation with Makoto Hoshino, Ultraman Canada 2021 Athlete in Profile.
My husband Bobby did Ultraman Canada in 2014, and he showed up with a crew that consisted of his wife, me, Renita, and our 2 daughters, Kyra, she turned 16 during the race, and Kaitlin, who was 13, and our 2-year-old puppy, Sydney. We were certain everyone at this race thought we were absolutely crazy. To level set our experience, Bobby gave us a crash course on how to change a bike tire the night before the race was going to start. To summarize day 1, of course he had 2 flats that afternoon. Of course we ran out of ice and drinks and had to refuel at the only location that there was to do so. And in the meantime, we lost our athlete. And we could not find him for the life of us. We had to call other crews to try to see if they had a location of him. We ended up having to use another crew's cell phone because ours didn't have service. And I was so thankful for the help of other crews that afternoon. One crew even gave us a wheel in case he were to run into more issues with flats and that type of thing. So by the end of day 1, we were just feeling some relief, like, wow, okay, that was a little different than we expected, and thought we could relax, but yikes, there is a lot to get done before day 2. So that afternoon it was getting hot, and Bob does not do well with heat, so he kept getting in the car to try to cool down. We would put cold towels on his head. We were doing everything we could, and at one point he said, "I'm done. I can't get out." And Kyra looked at him and she said, "You get your ass out of this car. We didn't drive all the way to Canada for you to not finish this race." And all he did was look at her, and he just simply, he nearly crawled out of the car and got back on his bike. He gets down the road a little ways, and Kyra says, "Mom, we cannot let him get near the car. We have to keep him away from the car." And so that's what we did the next few leapfrogs so that he couldn't get inside. He got mad at us a little bit, but he kept going. And we got closer and closer to the finish, and he said, "Hey, okay, I can make it. I'm okay." So we only got 3 hours of sleep that night, but let me tell you, I mean, the girls, Kyra and Kaitlin, they were troopers, and we moved that morning to make sure we had everything ready. We got going. It was cold. Before he took off running, he said, "I'm good until mile 12. Don't worry about me." So we relaxed. We sat in the car, had some breakfast, got things ready for what we would need at mile 12 and kind of slowly made our way. We got there and he was so mad that we were not leapfrogging with him. Needless to say, we didn't remind him that he told us to wait until mile 12. So, clue, don't listen to your athlete. Do what you think you need to do instead. During the second marathon, second part of that run, Kyra and Kaitlin started taking turns running with him. All I could do was laugh at the different experiences he was getting from them. Kaitlin would run along the side and say, "Dad, you need to move over a little bit. Do you need to stop and walk up this hill?" And she was just so gentle with him. And, it worked. And, then they would switch and Kyra would go run with him for, a couple miles. And she was a little bit more of a hard ass, and she would tell him, "Dad, stand up straight. Come on, we got to keep running. We got a finish line to get to." And, she was just a little bit more harsh, but he got the feeling of both personalities. He got both ends of the spectrum as far as support might go. And I think it just worked for him. And having it be his daughters on top of that was probably a fun thing for him. And, we made our way to the finish, and Bobby wanted us to run through the finish line with him. So I carried our puppy and we, jogged with him through the finish line. We were just quite a team, athlete and crew, and it was just an experience of a lifetime. It was intense, comical, rewarding, and we really did not know that we would leave that race with a new family, an ultra family. And all I can say is aloha, ohana, kakua, and that sums it up.
Each episode, I take the time to introduce you to an athlete that will be competing in our upcoming Ultraman Canada 2021. Today is a man that has some goals that are just out of this world. He has raced at Ironman Cozumel and Ironman Japan. He has finished the 250-kilometer Gobi Desert Ultramarathon. And then he decided to set his sights really high. He wanted to climb the 7 summits, the 7 highest mountains on the 7 continents. Joining us from his home in the 2021 Summer Olympic city of Tokyo, Japan, Makoto Hoshino. Konnichiwa, koki ni ite kurete arigato.
Konnichiwa.
I was trying to say hello and thank you for being here.
Hello.
I want to break into the interview here just to let you know a little bit about today's guest. You may have guessed that Makoto does not speak English as a first language. So right away, I have incredible respect for the fact that he agreed to do an English language podcast. To get around some of the language barrier, I will be setting up the questions with a little more background so that he doesn't have to speak quite as much, and I'll fill in the story as we go. I will also be trying to speak a little slower and a little plainer, but please do not let this distract from your listening pleasure. I have left in some of his pauses and searching for words in order to give an authentic voice. But the good news is I made over 350 edits for this interview so that it does have flow. Still, it might be a tiny bit of a struggle for the English speaker's ear, but trust me, it is well worth it. He is a character with an interesting story, and his answers to some of the big questions in life will likely surprise you. And he does get better as the interview goes on. To be honest, I probably should not have taken on an interview with Makoto as just my 4th interview in the podcast, but I found his story just to be too compelling. I hope you do too. Let's get back to the interview. As a younger person, you were just kind of going about your life, starting a business, selling eyeglasses, doing some triathlons, doing it through the usual start with a sprint, then do a half, and then you did your Ironman races. But one day you just decided that despite you didn't have any knowledge of how to climb mountains, that's what you were going to make your focus in life, to go climb mountains. And it's not even that you want to climb one mountain. You go right for the goal of, I want to climb the 7 highest peaks in the world over the 7 continents. So can we just start there for the listeners? And can you tell us what are those 7 highest mountains and where they are?
Okay. 7 Summit is the highest peak of the world. 7 continents are located in Russia, Alaska, Tanzania, Antarctica, and then Nepal, and Papua New Guinea, Australia, and Argentina. And so, yeah, that's 7 Summit.
And so, as I said, like, you didn't really have any knowledge of mountain climbing, but you did find someone who could help you out. A man by the name of Mr. Kuraoka, is that correct?
Yes.
And what was his experience, and how did he help you to train for this new goal in your life?
Only one tip. Strength is flexibility. Only that's all.
Okay.
Yeah. And you need drink much, and eat a lot. That's all.
So keeping your strength up on the mountain, keeping strong on the mountain is the important part.
Yes, and that's very, very important. Drink a lot, and eat a lot, and think flexibility all the time.
Flexibility. Okay.
Yeah. That's all.
Excellent. So in July of 2015, you climb your first mountain.
Yeah.
Elbrus.
Elbrus. Yeah, Russia's Eurasia's most highest mountain, located in Russia.
And at that time, because it's your first mountain to climb, what did you think prior to going to the mountain? How were you feeling? Did you feel prepared to do it?
Not ready. Not ready, but need. So first mountain is my most tough mountain. So getting sick. So
and that is altitude sickness.
Yeah, altitude sickness, terrible altitude sickness. So everybody easy to climb because not so high. Elbrus is just 5,642 meter, and that altitude is just the base camp at Everest. So not so high.
Right.
So every people, a lot of people, very easy and talking and climb that summit.
So on that first one, you're saying for most people it was easy because it's not too high. But for you, you still got sick on the first not high one.
Yes.
Yeah. Then 2016, you do 2 mountains. Which mountains were those?
I climbed the South America Aconcagua in Argentina, 6,942 meters, and were the 6th highest mountain in Tibet, Cho-Oyu, 8,201 meters.
Okay, so that's Cho-Oyu, Tibet. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you've been doing some triathlons, and in triathlon, it is acknowledged that it's not if you have a bike accident, it is when you have a bike accident that everyone in triathlon will crash on a bike, right? Were there any times when you were in danger on your climbs where maybe you would fall or other dangers?
Or of course, and danger, a lot of danger, but most danger is high altitude. Is a battle against altitude sickness. Altitude sickness is most danger in climbing the mountain.
What about weather? The cold, the weather, the wind.
Weather, cold weather is of course so cold, and the weather is danger, but not big deal.
Not okay. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's
So
cold. It's cold, but that's not a big deal as far as the climbing.
And cry and cliff and fall is not big deal. Only important is altitude sickness.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
So you feel safe with your ropes and clamps that you will not fall.
Yes, you ordinarily not fall. Sometimes fall.
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched one of your videos. You were walking across a wire between 2 mountain parts, and you're just basically walking on a wire.
Yeah.
How scary is it for you to do that?
First, of course, scary, but after walking, not scary.
No. Okay. I will post the video with this because you seem to be having a lot of fun. You are just cheering as you go across and having a lot of fun.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm guessing not so scary for you. Other people probably very scary.
Yeah, first step is only scared, but after that, second step is not scared.
That's
only first step.
Good philosophy, yeah.
チロリアン行かしていただきます。チロリアン、チロリアン。
Which mountain was that on?
The Papua New Guinea. なんだっけな。
Was that Karstens?
Yes, Karstens.
Yes.
Yes.
And
after high altitude, I lost a lot of memory.
I'm sure you've done so many that they start to seem like one trip. Yeah. And the other thing I really enjoyed in watching your video for that is that you were wearing a tuxedo.
Yeah. So because my last mountain, so I tuxedo. I wearing tuxedo, and so yeah.
Yeah, in watching all of your videos, you're definitely always having fun, and you have numerous like glasses that you wear.
Yeah. Every mountain, I wearing a lot of things and the tuxedo. And first, a lot of people, oh no, mountain is not so easy. Everyone criticize.
Yes.
But after that, even the summit, same things and the same, and a lot of people, oh, you are good.
They say you are cool.
Yeah. And after that, down the mountain and shake a hand and make a friend.
Right. Yeah. So
first,
yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
They want to be serious, then take the mountain climb serious, and they think at first, oh, he's not serious, but then they're like, oh no, he's having a good time. We should all have a good time.
Yes.
Yeah. That's excellent. Excellent. So just moving along the timeline. So 2017. You climb lots of mountains. In January and February, you do back-to-back climbs of Vincent Massif.
Yes.
Where is this one?
Vincent Massif, Antarctica and
Antarctica.
Yes, and
yeah. And then February, you were climbing where?
Australia. Kosciuszko. Kosciuszko is just here.
A mound.
No, not mountain. Not mountain.
It just happens to be the highest on the continent, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. After that, Everest. And after Everest is one week after Everest, finish the Everest, go to Alaska.
And that's for Denali.
And yes, 1 week. After 1 week. And after Alaska, two months later, go to Tanzania, Kilimanjaro. And after 1 month, go to Papua New Guinea, Karstens.
The Karstens, where you did that mountain or the wire climb. Yeah. So that was a six mountains in 1 year.
Yes.
Very busy year for you. Oh my God. If we can just go back to Everest for a second, because I know that most people are familiar with Everest, and that's a good story for most people to relate to. We all watched last summer. Was it last summer? When there were the lines of people trying to go to the summit of Everest. Was there ever a chance that you would not make it to the top of Everest when you went on your trip?
And a lot of line is Nepal side. My side is Tibet side. Tibet side is not so many.
Okay.
So Nepal side is a very narrow way to the summit, but the Tibet side is a little bit big road.
bigger road. Yeah. Okay.
Bigger road, and sometimes take off the rope. I can overtake.
So on the side that you climbed, you were able to overtake and pass other people, whereas you couldn't on the other side. You had to line up single file to do the journey.
But of course, we remove the rope, we can overtake. But sometimes fall.
Yeah, that's dangerous to remove the rope.
So choice, and stack the line or overtake. And
Right. Yes.
So
you probably want to stay on the line and not worry about
yes, or
overtaking.
overtake. Mm.
Now, when you finally get to the summit of the highest mountain on the planet Earth, how do you feel at that moment?
The truth, I didn't feel anything because many blizzard, so I cannot. No.
So because it was so snowy, so many blizzards, you didn't have an
Yes.
opportunity to enjoy being at the top.
Yes, and some, of course, I changed that. All summit, I changed the glasses. All summit.
Yes.
So, of course, Everest, I changed the glasses.
Oh yeah. How many?
Taking a mask, and how many? 10 or 15? So, of course, take off the mask.
Yes.
Oxygen mask.
Oxygen mask, yes.
Because of taking a mask, no mask is good looking.
Right.
So
but
taking a mask and 50 glasses, and I change, and so
but
I'm
not good for altitude sickness.
Yes, not good for altitude sickness, but I'm taking, but I'm an optician, so
yeah.
You
want advertising.
Yes, so but very, very dangerous, and almost
pass out.
Yes, almost pass out. I think going pass out, and so descent was very hard on my body. Yes, and my body is a lot of damage, so I cannot recommend take off the mask on the summit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I also noticed in your videos that when you summit each of the mountains, that you would take out a banner that has a heart. And I thought I heard you say the word wife in English at least one time. So what is on the banner with the heart?
Hold my wife to the love. I love my wife anytime, anywhere. So, because a lot of climbers friend, almost climbers friend, divorce.
Oh, yes.
So I don't want to divorce. So a lot of anytime I explain my wife's love.
Express.
Yes, express.
Yeah. So that you get to the mountaintop and you express your love for your wife.
Yes.
So that she knows that you are screaming from the mountaintop that you love her.
Yeah.
Yes.
First time is he impressed, but after that, not impressed. Oh, again.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah, but I'm okay. Still not divorced yet.
No. Yes. If you go through like this kind of experience, I think for a total of 3 years you were climbing at that time. What do you learn doing this? What do you learn about yourself? What do you learn about the world?
Sorry. At the first, I thought I was running and getting stronger. But truth, I wasn't learning anything at all.
You think you're going to learn something, but then you really didn't learn anything. You just did it.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Okay, I got you.
No anything. Nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
Nothing.
Well,
None,
that was 3 years. Whatever.
nothing growing. Nothing.
Okay. No growth.
No growth. Yeah.
There is something that is called the Explorers Grand Slam, which is the 7 summits plus also traveling to the North and South Pole. And I know that this is still part of your list of things to do, is to travel to the North and South Pole. But in the introduction, I said that you have set goals that are out of this world. So you actually have come up with your own Grand Slam, and you're calling it a Super Grand Slam.
Yeah.
Can you tell the listener what is the Super Grand Slam?
Yes, Super Grand Slam is adding Mars, Mount Olympus, space.
You're saying that you want to travel to Mars and
Mars
and climb the Mount Olympus on Mars.
Yes, because Mount Olympus is a solar system, is the highest mountain.
Right. So high on Earth, not good enough. You want highest in the entire solar system.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love that goal. And you actually went up to speak to Jeff Bezos at a conference to tell him that you were going to do that.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna play that clip now.
Hi, Jack. I'm from Japan Explorer, and I already climbed the 7th summit.
You did? Really?
Yes, last year. And next, I will go to Mars.
You have all your fingers, and you have your nose, and all your toes, everything?
Yes. And in future, your spaceship, and I will go to Mars, to the Olympus to the Mars. So see you again in the future.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
And thank you for saying hello. Very nice.
That is just amazing that you actually went up to Jeff Bezos to say, "Hey, I am going to, get on your spaceship and go to Mars."
Yeah. Or I'm really imaging every day.
So that is your life goal.
Part of my life goal.
Okay. You have more than that. Okay. So rapid fire questions, and you just have to give me like really quick answers. Okay. So question number 1, what is the favorite event you have competed in?
A favorite event?
Like triathlon. Or marathon, ultra marathon.
Ocean swim, yes.
Ocean swim. Which
now I crossing the Tsugaru Strait, or like a Dover.
Oh, English Channel?
Yeah.
You have done that, or you want to do that?
I want to do.
You want to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You want to do the English Channel swim. Excellent.
Yes.
Which athlete do you admire?
Okay. Kylian Jornet.
Kylian Jornet. Okay, now I only know this name because I saw another video of you. So please tell me about your experience when you met him. Oh, okay, hold on. Stop the music. So we get to the rapid answer transition round, and suddenly Makoto finds his voice. He gives me the longest uninterrupted answer of the entire interview. I obviously can't stop him now. So instead, I'm going to pause the transition round and we'll continue it shortly.
Okay. And during the Everest, he tried highest record to the no oxygen to the summit.
Fastest?
And fastest. Yeah. Fastest. And 1 week, 2 times, he climbed the Everest. And during that record, I met him twice.
Yes. There.
Yeah, I'm the spy.
There's a video of you. You're very much a fanboy of his getting your shirt autographed.
Yes.
Autographed shirt.
Yes, maybe only one. No one asking.
Yes.
Because he tired, so no one asking.
Right.
But only me.
Here's that YouTube clip of Makoto asking for the autograph of his idol, Kaitlin Miller. And I will have all of these YouTube clips in the show notes for you to go and see the visuals. You really need to see these. I've also attached a small clip at the end after the credits where we were finished our interview and Makoto is showing me the shirt that he gets signed in this clip. It's worth sticking around for at the end.
Thank you. And my name is Makoto.
Makoto.
Okay? Makoto. Makoto.
Good luck. He goes summit tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow. Yes, great. Yeah, thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. Enjoy.
Yeah, you too. Mostly you like.
Yeah.
You will be fun tomorrow.
Thank you very much. 36 hours without sleeping. He's summited Everest and he's signing t-shirts. Yep. Excellent. Thank you very much.
What is your favorite social media?
Social media. YouTube.
Okay.
YouTube.
Yeah, so you have lots of YouTube videos, and I'm going to definitely share those links so people can see them.
Thank you.
Which book do you most recommend to your friends?
Think and Grow Rich.
Oh,
you know?
Yes, business book.
Yeah. Think and Grow Rich.
Okay, excellent. That's a good one. Yeah. So when you were 18 years old, you enrolled in the Department of Indian Philosophy at Toyo University. But at the same time, you also started traveling. You got a bit of a travel bug, and you took your backpack through 37 countries. Yeah. So while you were a young man, you're doing your traveling, and did you end up finishing your school, or did traveling take over?
Traveling take over, and still student. I didn't go to school.
So you're
not so much.
You're enrolled in school, but not going to school. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was researching you and reading, you had typical travel experiences. You got sick. You got robbed. People were trying to take advantage of you. But at that same time, you were making a list of things you want to do with your life. And when the traveling was done and it was time to get a job, you just kind of use your own personal philosophy of life. It's like a Nike slogan of just do it.
Yeah.
You don't want to spend time thinking. You don't want to spend time learning. You just start and do things, right? Is that fair to your philosophy that you kind of developed while you were traveling?
Yeah, just do it is very easy and simple. So my philosophy is always just do it. Learning and after learning,
Yeah.
first do.
Do first, learn later.
Learn. Sometimes not learn.
Or
just do.
Just do. So
no learn.
So your first job, you worked at a pawn shop.
Yeah, pawn shop.
But you have no background, no way of knowing the value of the items.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no. yeah, nothing.
But you just go and fake your way through.
Yeah, sometimes fake and I lost a lot of money.
You lost a lot of money at the shop.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Wasn't your money.
Yes, not my money. My company money.
That's a
lot of.
That's a great story. Great story. And then, so one day you decide, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to open a hotel. Maybe this is one of the dreams from your traveling. You have fun at your hotels. And so you just walk in, quit the pawn shop, go down the road to the Hyatt Hotel and say, give me a job.
Yeah. Give me my job. No money is okay. So yes.
Yeah.
No salary, okay.
Yeah.
Give me my job. Just do.
Just do. But they didn't give you the job.
Yeah, they didn't give it a job because I'm a suspicious man.
Suspicious,
man. Yeah, suspicious man is they don't give me job.
No. But eventually you do find a job at a hotel eventually.
Yeah. Yes, eventually.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you did not like it.
I learned one thing. Hotel just need to stay. Just stay is okay. And not working.
Yes.
I learned.
Okay. So the romance of traveling and being in the hotel is great. Working in the hotel is not fun. Around the same time, you also decide you want to open your own space company. And so you start attending conferences, you start attending competitions for doing space things, and you establish a company called Galaxy Hitchhikers.
Yes.
What is that all about, this Galaxy Hitchhikers?
Very famous Michael
book?
Yes, very famous book. You know?
Yes, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, that I stole that name.
That company was not successful at that time.
Yes.
At that time.
Yeah.
So you move on to selling eyeglasses.
Yes.
Yes. And you opened one and then more stores in Tokyo and Hong Kong, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. And around the same time now that you finally have a job that is going to pay you, now you can get married.
Yeah.
So you've met your wife, you get married, you start raising a family. How many children do you have, and what are their names?
Okay, and I have 4 children, and one oldest is Yume. Yume is a mean dream, And the second is also daughter, and Karen. Karen means beautiful flower.
Okay.
And third, also daughter, is Mikoto. Mikoto means Japanese god. God. And the last one is a boy. And after Everest, he born. And his name is Ginga, is galaxy, means galaxy.
Galaxy.
Yeah.
That seems so appropriate for you, Makoto.
Yeah. He want to be he growing to the Darth Vader. Another.
Darth Vader.
Yeah. So I study Star Wars.
Yeah, okay.
For him.
You already got him hooked.
To be a Darth Vader. Yeah.
Okay.
You to be a Darth Vader.
So you've got your eyeglasses company that's all going, and this is when you're also doing your triathlons, and you did the Gobi Desert ultra marathon, and you start thinking about doing these seven peaks. Somewhere in there, you also worked for an IT company.
Yeah.
Did you know anything about that job, or did you just fake again?
Of course, I don't know anything. So, also, I spend a lot of money.
Spend a lot of their money.
Of course. Not my money, company money.
Yeah, company money. So, okay. And then, but the idea of having galaxy hitchhikers still stays with you through all of these other ventures that you take on, and you restart the galaxy hitchhikers again.
Yes.
What is going on with galaxy hitchhikers now, today?
Nothing. Just thinking.
Okay.
Just thinking to Jeff Bezos. I'm going to Mars. I'm going to Mars.
Okay.
So nothing.
Is the idea of this company that you would help people to get into spaceships like Blue Origin? Is that the purpose in your mind of the company?
Nothing.
No. Okay.
Nothing yet, but maybe some image bring to me.
You're still waiting for what it will be.
Still waiting.
Okay. Well, at least you're selling a lot of eyeglasses. Yeah. that you do not fake, right? That is real.
Yeah.
Okay. And I saw on your website you have also written 3 books.
Yes.
Yeah. Briefly, tell me, what are the 3 books?
Truth. Nothing to learn about the book. Truth.
Yeah, you're all about the truth. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing. You better think. You better read. Think, grow rich.
It's a better book. Better book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try some more Japanese for you here. Let me know how I do. Okay. Honjitsu wa ohanashi dekete koi desu.
Oh, you good at speak Japanese very well.
I was trying to say it has been my pleasure to speak with you today.
Yes. Perfect.
Hey, if you liked what you heard today, please tell a friend and be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We'd appreciate it if you'd rate and review the show while you're there. Drop the names of the people you think we should interview and we'll get in touch with them and make that happen. Thank you for listening to 515, the Ultraman Podcast, a production of 55 Enterprises brought to you by Ultraman Canada. Now really, go subscribe now before you forget.
Is behind you the orange T-shirt? Is that the one that you had signed?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
This is here.
That's
yeah. Makoto keep
strong.
Kilian. Yeah. And first I wash the t-shirts and I wash the t-shirts a lot and disappear and I taking myself.
More fake, more forgery.
but like that. Yeah, washing. So yeah, I taking. I'm making.
I saw the video. It's real. I saw the video.